The world is undergoing significant change, and for the leaders and innovators in the future, for the countries that are the most innovative, the opportunities are enormous. For countries who are lagging in innovation, for countries that are lagging in new technologies and the adaptation and absorption of those new technologies, they will be pushed behind. So this is an exciting time for you, and please, all of you, take advantage of these opportunities. I'm aware that global growth is slow at this moment. It is strengthening, and there are many changes that are taking place. One of the areas that are taking place that even last night in the United States, the changes in how it impacted, that's the transformation of energy. There's been a great deal of discussion. In fact, much of the discussion is negative about the drop in oil prices. But let's be clear, the drop in oil prices is something that we should be very happy about. This is a redistribution from the owners of oil to the users of oil. It's a global tax cut. This is a huge opportunity for China, a huge opportunity for the United States, India, Korea, Japan. This is going to stimulate the global economy, not harm it. But what's interesting is the speed of the drop. We've seen a 50% decrease in a very short period of time in the drop of oil. As I said, this is a massive tax cut for the global economy. It will ultimately drive consumption at a time when global growth is still too slow. China will have more capital available to spend and invest. And so will many of China's trading partners, including the United States. But how did this happen? It came as a surprise for many. But just as the buildup of the credit crisis in 2008 was evident to see, many people saw charts of a widening increase in debt. So everyone could see in 2008 that we're going to hit a credit crisis. The same statistics were evident about the changes in the oil industry. But most people could not see this far. They could not see beyond their nose about what was changing and how technology has changed the energy business. This is a prime example, and this is a great lesson for all students. How markets can be so focused on noise, on what's on television, what's on the radio, what's on the internet. But nobody's focusing on the long-term transformational trends that are going on. These trends were occurring in the oil market for the last 3 years, and yet what caused this big giant break? And why didn't anybody talk about this a year ago or 2 years ago? There's lots of discussion today about technology as it's transforming communication, the media, the internet. But technology now is having a similar impact, effect on virtually every business, every component of life today, every corner of the economy. Technology is making a transformation, whether it's in agriculture, manufacture, or oil. The impact on new technology for detection of oil, for drilling of oil, like hydraulic fracking, have transformed the oil industry. Proven oil reserves around the world have increased. And if we remember, oil reserves were flat for over 10 years. And all of a sudden, through the new technology, we've seen a big increase in proven reserves. This did not happen overnight, but the impact is now being impacted today. Over the last year and a half, demand globally for oil has increased about 600,000 barrels a day. But through this new technology, we've increased supply. by 1.6 million barrels. This is the first time in even my life, and I'm much older than all of you, where we've seen an impact on supply. Historically, in the commodity markets, what we've seen a spike up or spike down is a demand-driven phenomenon. This is a supply-driven phenomenon that was entirely created by new technology. We are now in the midst of price discovery. Oil broke last night below $50. And as I said, this is a supply-driven phenomenon. I don't know when and where oil will stabilize, but I think it's fair to say we are not going to see oil go back to $100 and stay there. We may see oil stabilize at 75, maybe 80, maybe 65. It is through the lowering of the oil price we're going to see less new supply. We're going to continue to see, especially now with this major global tax cut because of lower oil prices, we're going to see probably greater consumption and demand for oil, and we will find new equilibrium. And I'm not here to predict where, when, and where that equilibrium will be, but I would say very clearly it's probably $80 or somewhere around that. 3 weeks ago, I was in Riyadh in Saudi Arabia, and Kuwait, and Abu Dhabi. And this is a center of oil worldwide. And they asked me, where do I think oil prices will go? That was a major, major surprise for me, a major piece of information that here we are in the center of the global world supply of petroleum. They did not have an answer to the oil price. This is an oligopoly that controlled oil that no longer has the ability to control oil. The oligopoly only controls now 30% of supply. And this is what technology has changed. And as students, you need to think about beyond the Alibabas and the Baidus and the Facebooks and all the other technologies. You need to think about how is technology changing the world in so many other facets. That's going to be where I believe the great opportunities will be beyond the obvious. The Alibabas, the Amazons, the Apples, the Facebooks, the Baidus. We all know about these. What's next?